This is Wandering Universe. Today, I'll be exploring another interesting pyramid situated near the Wei River in China, the Maoling Mausoleum. So, let's go exploring. Okay, as you all know, this is Google Earth. And as you can see in front of you, it's planet Earth. This is where we live, right? And which other planet do we really come from? And yes, it's floating out in space. And you can see a lot of stars, billions and billions of them floating out all over the galaxy, all over the universe, okay? They say the Big Bang started from just a Big Bang, little tiny cherry bomb explosion, but who knows? So, where we're going today, I'm going to spin this big blue marble around. Here we go. This is where we're going to go today. Yes, we're back in China. That's where we're going. Now, I'm going to go in a little bit closer just to give you an idea of where we're going to be exploring today. So we're going in closer. Now you'll see a lot of provinces. As you can see, there's a lot of them around. No, we're not going to Wuhan. Certainly not. We're going somewhere, possibly around the northern region. Here we go. Okay. We're going to this area right here. My arrow is circling. It's called Xi'an. That's where we're going today. Now I'm going to go in a lot closer to the area. Shanxi province. Now we're going to go in closer. So you can see a lot of mountain terrain surrounding the area, surrounding the township. And this is the Wei River that goes along this part of outside the Xi'an township. I'm going to show you something very interesting. So come aboard, come with me. We're going in closer. Okay, you're going to see something very interesting. Okay, this is the township. If you go further up north, follow the river. This is the Wei River right here. Now, you're going to see something interesting. Yep, you're going to witness something. Okay, see this? Have a look. Pyramids, pyramids, pyramids. More pyramids up here. More pyramids, more pyramids. Even further up right here. Now we're going to go in closer. Here's the Wei River. The pyramids are in close proximity to the river. Isn't that interesting? This isn't about a real estate spiel on location, location, location. It's got nothing to do with that. It's not about having a beautiful water view opportunity so it boosts up the price of your property. It's got nothing to do with that. They use this river for a very specific purpose. Today, they see them as burial mounds, but I see them far more than that. If there are tunnels going along as a causeway from the river all the way to each of these pyramids and others are situated along the river, that means they were used for something really, really fascinating that we're currently using today, that you and I are using right now. It starts with E and ends with Y. Okay, let's follow the river. A lot of these pyramids, there's plenty of them, there's numerous ones, are snaked along the river. Okay, so I'm going to go in a little bit closer for you so you can see. Okay, see that? Pyramids, pyramids, more pyramids. There's more pyramids up here, believe it or not. More pyramids up here. As you can see, pyramids, pyramids along there. Now, we're going to go back down to the river and we're going to follow the course of the river. Okay, you're going to see more pyramids. They're coming up. Okay, here's more pyramids here. There's more pyramids there. Okay, let's keep going. Okay, make sure we follow the snake of the river. Okay, so we're going to show you there's another pyramid here. Okay, I'm going to show you the Maoling Pyramid. So we're going to keep going. It's just amazing that they're still here. Here's another pyramid right there. There's more pyramids up here. Some of them are tiny. Some of them are quite large. Okay, so we're going to keep going. Okay, here's another pyramid here. And as you can see, I'll just show you very briefly. There's the river right here. There's one pyramid, and there's the Maoling Pyramid right here. There's more pyramids in the surrounds as well. You can go and search that for yourself. I'm still amazed that they do exist today. They're still there. That's really interesting. Okay, let's go in a little bit closer. Okay, now, yep, there's others. There's many others around. Some of them have been destroyed. Some of them are just abandoned wrecks. What can you do? Due to weather erosion over time, they just sink right down. They can collapse. A lot of these burial mounds have collapsed. So this is Maoling. I'll go in closer. Okay. Now, there is another pyramid right here, by the way. Okay, this is the one that I've been talking about. This may be the Great White Pyramid that Maurice Sheehan may have seen on his reconnaissance flight over China. Now, see how it's right next door to the Maoling Pyramid? Okay, there's more than one pyramid. There's a few here. So I'm going to go in closer, okay? This one is yet to be investigated. It hasn't been properly excavated or even studied properly. We don't know what's inside. Is there really a tomb in there? Is there really a burial chamber inside there? I don't know. I'm very skeptical about this, but I'd like to investigate this pyramid one day when I do get a chance. Okay, here we are. This is Maoling area. Okay, we're going to go in closer. Okay, we're going to go in closer. Now, if I just bring this, before I go on, that's the pyramid one that right there, Maoling Pyramid. That's another pyramid. That's another pyramid. And the rest is just farmland surrounding it. And that's the nearby township just virtually next door. And this is the concrete path, the walkway that leads to the main entrance of the Maoling Pyramid right here. So they say it's one of the largest, but if you really compare it to this big beauty, it begs to differ, really. So I have to say it's not really one of the largest. Okay, and like I said, over here, there it is. Another pyramid right there. Yet to be explored. Okay, here we go. Now, you're going to see what it looks like ground level. If I just bring in, maybe I should, actually I'll type in sorry, spelt it wrong. Typical me. Okay. Okay, this is what it's showing you, 3D version of it. Just the township right next door to the Maoling Mausoleum. Okay, what I'm going to do now is I'll stop here and I'm going to just show you what it looks like. Okay, so this is it. This is what it looks like. I'll just spin the compass around a little bit. Okay, so here we go. This is a better view. I'll go in a little bit closer. And as you can see, right close, getting a little bit closer, and there it is. Okay, that's the tomb. I think this is one of Emperor Wu, and this is the other emperor's tomb. I've forgotten the name. Sorry about that. Don't kill me over this because I didn't actually have time to study this particular tomb. But I know this is Emperor Wu's one. This could be his wife's, and the concubine's tomb is just here, servants and other relics they found in, well, not necessarily inside this pyramid, but I think it was in this one they found the other artifacts. So this is what it looks like from the air. If you really want to check these pyramids out, please do so. I'm actually going to go there myself one day, probably either next year or the year after, depending on my financial situation. And yes, it's going to be a very intriguing journey to find out what's inside this pyramid and that pyramid as well. And you're going to see one photo I managed to find, an actual Emperor Wu chamber, okay? And it looks kind of similar, but not in its design compared to the ones in the Giza pyramids in Egypt. So let's go exploring, shall we? If by now you've come across my previous video on pyramids in China, I introduced the topic of the Great White Pyramid. This grandiose pyramid was discovered by an American tourist by the name of Fred Schroeder, who stumbled across something unusual to the naked eye. Here's an introduction from my video. Pyramids. The story goes, 4 men, Fred Mayer Schroeder, James Gaussman, Colonel Maurice Sheehan, and Oscar Mammon share one thing in common. They all spotted this. Yes, the Great White Pyramid situated in the outskirts of Xi'an, some 40 kilometres away. At the time, it was probably called as such for its snow-white appearance. It is possible they all flew by this hunk of a structure during a long winter. To their amazement, they had never seen anything like it. It was humongous. This 1947 photo right here, taken by Colonel Maurice Sheehan, published an article to the New York Times. It made him wonder what the devil US pilot James Gaussman was yabbing on about. So, moving right along. This time we're going to take a closer look at another pyramid nestled in the mountain farming terrain. The Maoling Mausoleum. It's situated in Xingping, Shaanxi, China. It's 40 kilometers to the west of provincial Xi'an. It was built from the year 139 BC and it was commissioned by Emperor Wu. The construction took an excruciating 53 years to complete. Jeez. What took them so long? The resourceful Chinese were one of the inventors of printing paper money. This was initiated as an IOU, a receipt that shows how much gold is in stored value. So, the time you come to collect your gold, you show them this IOU to the emperor's treasurer, and they pay you in actual gold. This form of currency helped pay the construction from taxes and tributes to the emperor. This is one of the largest pyramids amongst many other surrounding tombs. The artifacts found inside the tomb contain 4,100 objects and 14 relics. One of them is the golden horse. The question is, where did they find the gold to gild this object? It was discovered in 1981 by farmers in a field nearby the place. In 1985, gold deposits were found in and around the Maoling Pyramid area. The soil contains deposits from Proterozoic sedimentary rocks. These rocks contain a good amount of granite, limestone, sandstone and shale formed from the glacial mountains. This pyramid has been restored since 2009. The tomb, or the inner chamber of the pyramid, housed the dead body of Emperor Wu, or Li Qi, from 156 to 87 BC of the Han Dynasty. However, his body has not been properly searched and located. According to ancient Chinese texts, he was not buried inside the actual pyramid. He was buried elsewhere in an undisclosed location. The motive behind it isn't clear. The pyramidal form is a trapezoidal tumulus made from rammed earth with a rectangular base measured 222 by 217 meters and height is 47 meters. Hang on. This isn't right. Shouldn't the pyramid have been built using limestone or granite? The foundation is as solid as a rock. Earlier stories began right around the Second World War. A US Air Force pilot named James Gaussman reportedly saw a white-topped pyramid during a flight between China and India in 1945. Rumour has it James Gaussman is a pseudonym for Maurice Sheehan. To recap, here is a video that explains it. It was a majestic sight.
Gaussman did file a report along with several snapshots of this groundbreaking find, but as always it suddenly got lost in the filing system, never to be seen again. Since then, several others have flown and trekked the area following the coordinates left behind by Gaussman and Schroeder. Fred Schroeder was the first eyewitness in 1912 to have spotted this gigantic structure out in the middle of a grass plains valley. Even recently, none of the other explorers and archaeologists have managed to find this ginormous structure anywhere in the Xi'an region.
These pyramids need to be studied at great lengths. It is not yet known what materials were used to build these structures accurately. Yet, to our curious minds, what makes this pyramid different to the others snaked along the nearby river? And no, don't fall for the real estate sales spiel of location, location, location crap. For now, the Maoling Mausoleum contains lots of heirlooms such as pottery horses, Chinese-looking riders in robes, and other grave goods left behind to collect dust. May as well hoard these items in a garage and pretend you'll use it one day, but in hindsight, you never do. Many found artifacts like miniature palaces and pavilions with flowing rivers of mercury to give it the impression of water. Scientific work at the site discovered high levels of mercury in the soil, yet they are still investigating the whereabouts of this actual deadly chemical. A magnetic scan showed a large number of coins lying in the unopened tomb, a mega 10 tons of bronze coins just lumped in a corner as a tribute or mourning rites to the emperor's death. In 1986, a month-long excavation revealed that the interior structure was largely void, meaning it was empty. In 2007, using a LiDAR scan, confirmed the pyramid is a 98-foot high building, but made no mention of a chamber. A Chinese historian, Sima Xian, recorded that 700,000 men worked on the site, far excess that of Herodotus's account on Khufu's workforce. Here is a video that briefly mentions Maoling Pyramid.
Emperors and their wives, and of scholars and sages notable in their day. There is no mention of pyramids anywhere in his work. Moreover, the tombs are not located in any forbidden zone. Another theory, that the Chinese authorities had attempted to hide their pyramids from prying Western eyes by planting trees on them to make them blend into the landscape, is also a modern myth. The tombs were originally built with trees planted on them. In the case of the Maoling tomb, located 25 miles northwest of Xi'an, and many others, yew trees have recently been planted to restore their original appearance, as well as to slow down soil erosion. In both Chinese and European folklore, the yew is seen as a symbol of immortality, as the tree lives to a considerable age, and also for its smell, believed to offer the dead protection from demons.
So, trees are like gods that clean the demons out of your soul. This suggests a very superstitious attitude towards immortality, but in reality they just found a loophole to push their problems forward, so it's taken care of, right? That's their way of handling their issues. There is another explanation.
Emperors and hundreds of other nobles rise up majestically from the fertile plains of the Wei River Valley. The majority of the larger tombs date from the Han 206 BC to AD 220 and Tang dynasties, AD 618 to 907. Two of the best known of these structures are the Maolin tomb and the Qianling tomb. Located 50 miles northwest of Xi'an, the Qianling tomb is one of the best preserved in China and holds the remains of Emperor Tang Gaozong, 628 to 683, and his wife, China's only female ruler, Empress Tang Wuzes Eon, 624 to 705. Beginning with the second Tang Emperor Taizong, mausoleums were built on hills to allow easier construction, and the Maoling tomb is a good example, Located on the highest of three peaks on Liangshan Hill, 3,435 feet above sea level. The tomb has not been excavated and is unique in that it is the only imperial mausoleum untouched by tomb robbers. A spirit path, or imperial road, leads to the tomb's entrance and is lined with statues which include a pair of guardian generals, winged horses and phoenixes, the latter creatures having power to exorcise evil spirits. There are also 17 subsidiary tombs of nobles and ranking officials in the area surrounding Qianling, 5 of which, including the tomb of Princess Yongtai, granddaughter of Gaozong, and the Empress Wu Zetian, have been excavated, and one wonders if it is this structure that is the origin of the White Pyramid myth. Maoling is the mausoleum of Emperor Wu Di, also known as Li Qi, and at 150 feet high is one of the largest of all the mausoleums of emperors built during the Western Han Dynasty, 206 BC to 24 AD. The tomb, which covers over 584,400 square feet, took 53 years to build and held an incredible array of rich burial goods. Maoling is surrounded by 20 or so satellite tombs of imperial wives, ministers and nobles, as well as the houses of tomb keepers and court attendants.
53 years to build? Sounds like a real dodgy construction job to me. 53 years to build this? It never ceases to amaze me. This shows they were clueless on pyramidal architecture, let alone being truly experienced at one. I believe their construction methods were likely to be just as primitive, or if not, slightly more advanced to the ones or close to the ones in ancient Egypt. Sure, they were proficient in mathematics, geometry and astronomy, but it doesn't give rise to the fact Emperor Wu and his construction mates, who were mostly peasant farmers, didn't have the know-how on pyramidal engineering. This type of design is not a learn-as-you-go-along technical college course. There was a blueprint. If so, where's the blueprint for this mega construction? Till this day, it's never been found.
And held an incredible array of rich burial goods. Maoling is surrounded by 20 or so satellite tombs of imperial wives, ministers and nobles, as well as the houses of tomb keepers and court attendants. Recently, author and science writer Walter Hain and Chris Mayer of UnexplainedEarth.com have used satellite photos to identify the pyramid mound of the Maoling Mausoleum as beyond doubt the White Pyramid of the celebrated black and white photo. What appears to have happened in the case of the White Pyramid is that modern folklore has built up around a single black and white photograph of the Maoling Mausoleum, probably taken in 1947 by Colonel Maurice Sheehan and later attributed to non-existent pilot James Gorsman. Recently, in July 2006, there was news that Chinese archaeologists had discovered a group of pyramid-shaped tombs in an ancient city located in northeastern China's Jilin province. The tombs, which may date back as far as 3,000 years ago, were exposed due to floodwater erosion on part of the mountain. The largest tomb was located on the south side of the mountain.
So, the mystery deepens. This black and white photo may be the Maoling Pyramid, but upon closer inspection, you see this humongous pyramid right here? It is almost next door neighbours to Maoling Pyramid, and the Maoling Pyramid is right here where my arrow or my mouse is circling. So that's the Maoling Pyramid, and this is possibly the Great White Pyramid just next door to the Maoling Pyramid. Why is it so? The truth is, we don't know, but it does share a perplexing constellation connection. The size is certainly outsmarted the Maoling one, which is puny from this angle. In my previous video, I analysed this Ma Village Pyramid as the Great White Pyramid taken from Maurice Sheehan aka James Gassman geometric specifications. And it's interesting to note that this black and white photo shows not one tree planted along the sloping wall. What's interesting is that these comparison photos of the Giza pyramids and Chinese pyramids are almost identical in design. It is possible that this was a franchise blueprint of the pyramidal construction. The planted trees are to camouflage the pyramid to make it appear as a mountain and avoid erosion. And if you compare the ones in Teotihuacan side by side, this picture speaks for itself. Flat-topped apex and sloping right angles, plus subterranean chambers buried right underneath each pyramid in China. Even the Mayan pyramids share its architecture. Here is another video that clearly states what I've been talking about.
Briefly what they were trying to hide by making these ancient wonders blend so completely into their surroundings. The construction of these smaller Chinese pyramids is similar to that of the pyramids of Mexico City. The tops of most of these Chinese structures are flattened off, similar to the rectangular structure of the Mayans, Hausdorff said. The estimated age of these pyramids is 6,000 years, and it's believed that they've been arranged to align with certain constellations in the night sky, just as certain key pyramids in Egypt were constructed in imitation of the constellation Orion. The Chinese pyramids near Xi'an are proof of the immense knowledge of geometry and mathematics by the builders 5 millennia ago. Who were they, and where did they go? In 1994, archaeologists discovered several pyramids near the Wei River north of Xi'an. It is thought that there may be as many as 100 pyramids in China, including the Great White Pyramid, which is the highest of them all.
As I said earlier in my previous video, that these pyramids were built to align with a constellation in the night sky. This is credible evidence that supports my theory that it may be the location of the pre-ancient being's home planet. Were the Chinese mimicking ancient Egyptian cultural aspirations? All the pyramids were not tombs. These pyramids served a purpose that goes hand in hand with the ones in Egypt, Sudan, Bosnia, and Central America. The Maoling Pyramid was only used as a tomb for a PR exercise to glorify the emperor's immortality to please the gods, just like ancient Egypt. The way I see it, it's clear that the Chinese and Egyptians do share one thing in common: centralized power. Exercise their top dog obsession, screaming at the top of their lungs, "I am the greatest," before the catastrophic fall from power. This shows us humans we're at the primitive stages of hierarchical phase of self-preservation. Besides, what do they know about hydroelectrical power stations? You know, subterranean chambers beneath these pyramids. Hint, hint. Whilst I'm grilling this pyramid, would there have to be a chamber similar to that of the Giza pyramids? Yes and no. It all ranges on size, style, and design. Each pyramid is unique in its mechanical application. I'll talk about that later down the track. This Maoling Pyramid shows the sun, moon, and stars collage displayed along the ceiling within this chamber. This is the only known photograph I've found. To the locals, these pyramids in China are no big deal. It's a common window of viewing opportunity every time they step outside. The locals brush it off as nothing mysterious to them, yet they can't understand for the life of them why us asinine Westerners, as the locals have been regimented for centuries to perceive us as such, are so captivated by these out-of-the-ordinary structures. Chinese Western-born visitors couldn't give a toss about the Westerners' asinine fascination. To them, it's just a relic. Who cares? But what gets Westerners every single time is their condescending approach. It's like saying the Egyptian locals have known about the hieroglyphs all along, but let's not let the Westerners know about it. Sure, they conduct tours for the locals and foreigners alike to only see the outside of the Maoling Pyramid and others that only do this to pacify you. Rumour has it there are hundreds of ancient texts about these pyramids. None have been professionally translated into English. Don't worry, I've looked. There is so much disinformation, misinformation, and non-information that gets you lost in the maze of it all. No one truly knows whom built these pyramids. What you really want to know is, was it us or the pre-ancient beings? These pyramids, as I said before, in reference to Egypt and Sudan, were not built for the dead. They were abandoned relics long before we came along to dress it up as a funerary parlour and took credit for something we did not do. But one thing is for certain, the pre-ancient beings left behind these pyramids in China and many others around the planet as a simple reminder that we are not the only intelligent life forms in the universe. In the next video, I'll be exploring a small stone block pyramid in China that resembles a step pyramid to that of Egypt. That's all for now.